Are you getting into a relationship, but your gut tells you something's off? You can't quite put your finger on it, but deep down, something doesn't feel right. Maybe she's smiling at you, laughing at your jokes, even holding your hand. But there's a wall. You can't see a barrier that feels cold. No matter how warm her words sound, is she being super secretive when you ask questions about her past? Does she casually spit out other men's names during normal conversations, as if they mean nothing? If you're a man who values trust, transparency, and emotional security, this video could save you from falling into a trap disguised as romance. Because sometimes it's not about what she says. It's about what her behavior quietly reveals. Let's be clear, this isn't about judging someone's past. It's about protecting your heart from someone who may not be ready or willing to give you the love you deserve in today's video. We'll uncover 10 powerful signs that may indicate she has had multiple sexual partners in the past, not to shame, but to inform. Because if your goal is a relationship rooted in loyalty, emotional connection, and long-term commitment, you have every right to know who you're getting involved with. So stay with us until the very end. You might discover truths that help you decide whether she's the one to build with or the one you need to walk away from. Sign thorough. 1. Extremely comfortable with physical intimacy. Did your first intimate time with her turn out to be worrisome instead of an awesome one? Did it turn out to be unexpected? You expected it to be passionate, but instead, it was way too amazing. And not in a good way. Was she almost too bold, too experienced, too confident, as if she's done this hundreds of times before? Let me explain. Usually when you're with someone for the first time, there's a hint of nervousness, a touch of hesitation, maybe even awkward pauses. But in this case, it was the exact opposite. Instead of you making the first move, she initiated. And not just with a kiss. She took control like a seasoned expert. She didn't flinch. She didn't hesitate. She embraced every moment like it was second nature. That's not always a bad thing, but it does raise a question. Where does that level of comfort come from? An experienced woman doesn't shy away from kissing, cuddling, or even engaging in things most people take time to explore. She might even surprise you with unusual or advanced moves that leave you wondering, how many times has she done this before? Now don't jump to conclusions too quickly. Some people are just naturally expressive, confident, and talented in bed. But if your gut is already raising alarms, and this is just the first sign, you'd be wise to stay alert for the next few. Sign number 2. Avoids emotional closeness. There are times when a man, no matter how strong or stoic, feels emotionally vulnerable. It's human, it's real. And in those moments, he reaches for someone who can hold him, not just physically, but spiritually and emotionally. Someone who makes the weight of life feel a little lighter. A deep emotional connection is what separates a casual fling from a committed relationship. It's the glue that holds a couple together during life's storms, misunderstandings, and growing pains. But what if she's never really there for you in that way? What if she answers your call, but not your emotions? She's physically present, but emotionally she's absent, like a ghost wrapped in perfume. A woman who's had multiple sexual partners, especially if she's built a pattern of short-term flings, may subconsciously avoid emotional closeness. Why? Because she's learned not to attach. Or maybe she never had to. How can you tell? Let's say you're trying to build a heart-to-heart conversation with her. You're opening up, sharing your past, expressing your feelings, but she quickly turns the discussion into something light. She changes the subject. She jokes. She shrugs it off. It's almost like she's afraid to feel too deeply, like emotional vulnerability is more terrifying than intimacy itself. This leaves you confused, empty, wondering if you're just not enough to make her open up. But here's the truth. Sometimes it's not about you at all. Some women are emotionally distant because they've been hurt, used, or disappointed. Others have been conditioned by a string of surface-level relationships to avoid going deep still. If you're seeking a long-term bond, this wall can't be ignored. So what should you do? Give it time, but watch closely. Does she start opening up once she feels safer with you? Or does she keep retreating to the safety of shallow waters? Because a relationship can't grow when one partner keeps pulling away from the emotional light sign. Number 3, vague or inconsistent history. One of the clearest red flags in any relationship, inconsistencies in her story. Let's say you've been dating her for weeks or even months, but you still feel like you don't really know her past. It's foggy. She shares fragments, but never the full picture, and worse, the pieces don't fit. One day she tells you she was in a long-term relationship with a guy named Chris. A week later, she casually mentions she's never had a serious relationship. She tells you she used to love hiking because it reminded her of someone special. But later she says she's always hated the outdoors. These may seem like small contradictions, but they're important because when someone is hiding something, especially a complex or crowded past, they often struggle to keep their story straight. Their mind tries to edit the truth in real time, and those edits don't always align. But let's be fair. Some people genuinely don't enjoy discussing their past. They believe in living in the present, and that's okay. What's not okay is when their vagueness makes you feel insecure, unimportant, or suspicious. So what should you do? Have a mature, honest conversation. Bring up your concerns in a calm way. Say something like, "I just want to understand you better, not to judge, but to know who I'm sharing my future with." Her reaction will tell you more than her words. If she opens up, fills in the blanks, and speaks with clarity and warmth, that's a green flag. But if she shuts down, gets defensive, or keeps telling conflicting stories, that's a sign that her past may be more crowded than she's willing to admit. And that, my friend, is something you need to know before you give her your heart sign. Number 4. Frequent last-minute schedule changes. Does it happen to you that she cancels plans at the very last moment, and not just once, but again and again? These constant fluctuations in her schedule can be more frustrating than watching the stock market crash after payday. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, why does this keep happening? Sure, life happens. Work emergencies, family issues, unpredictable events, we all get it. But when the cancellations become a pattern and the reasons start to feel paper thin, something is off. She may say a surprise meeting came up, or a friend randomly dropped by, or she's suddenly not feeling well. But you notice something. She's always vague, never gives clear details, and always avoids specifics about who, where, and why. What's even more suspicious? She never tries to reschedule. She cancels, then disappears until she feels like texting again. You see, a woman who's truly into you will feel bad about canceling. She'll make it up to you. She'll show you that your time matters. But someone who sees you as just one option on a long list of priorities. She'll drop you in a heartbeat when something or someone better comes up again. This doesn't always mean she's playing games. Maybe she genuinely has a hectic life. But if her flaky behavior is making you feel unimportant, dismissed, or constantly waiting, it's time for a conversation. Approach her calmly, tell her that her pattern of last-minute changes makes you feel disrespected. See how she responds. Because how someone handles your feelings in moments like this reveals everything about how they'll handle your heart sign. Number 5, compares you to past partners. Frequently, a woman who gets into a relationship for the first time never compares you to anyone. Why would she? You're her only reference point. But if she's had multiple partners before, she may unintentionally compare you to them, whether she realizes it or music. Not "how does this sound? That steak you made was even better than the one my ex and I used to get every Friday. My ex always used to plan surprise dates. You should do that too. My old boyfriend was obsessed with fitness. I kind of miss that energy." Ouch, at first these comments may seem innocent, but over time they become little knives chipping away at your confidence. You start wondering, am I just another name in her past? Does she still miss him? Am I being measured against someone who no longer exists in her life? These comparisons may seem small, but they're a huge red flag. Not only do they reveal how many men she's been with, but they show she hasn't truly let go of those experiences. More importantly, they disrespect you. A man of value doesn't compete with ghosts. He doesn't try to win first place in a race he never signed up for. So what do? Set a boundary. Let her know gently but firmly that you're not here to be compared. You're not a replacement. You're a partner, and if she can't leave the past behind, she doesn't deserve your future. Sign number 6, highly secretive about phone use. Here's one that hits a lot of men hard. Does your partner's phone suddenly become her most protected possession? When you're around, maybe she scrambles to turn it face down. Maybe she keeps switching screens when you walk by, or maybe she gets super quiet when certain notifications pop up and suddenly takes her phone to the other room. You're not being paranoid. You're noticing patterns when someone gets overly secretive about their phone. It could mean one of two things they're hiding. Something from you. They don't respect the openness. A real relationship needs a woman with multiple past partners may still be texting them. She may have photos, chats, or content she doesn't want you to see. Not because she's actively cheating, but because she's emotionally tied to a past she doesn't want to explain, and when you ask her about it, she gets dramatic. You don't trust me. Why are you being so controlling? Can't I have any privacy? Here's the thing, privacy is healthy, but secrecy is toxic. The difference: privacy is something two people mutually respect. Secrecy is something one person uses to hide behavior from the other. A solid relationship grows when both people can hand each other their phones without fear. Not because they have to, but because they've got nothing to hide. So if this secrecy keeps growing and the trust keeps shrinking, you have every right to address it, because love should never make you feel like you're walking on eggshells. Sign number 7 focuses on physical appearance, like she can be very secretive about her phone. She can also be very conscious of both your appearance and her own. Maybe she spends what feels like hours getting ready. Maybe she checks her reflection in every window and mirror you pass. Maybe she compliments other people's looks a lot, and it seems like every second word is about someone's body clothes or physical features. Now let's be honest, taking pride in your appearance is normal. In fact, it's healthy. But when physical beauty becomes her obsession, when surface-level attraction is prioritized over emotional connection, it tells you something deeper. It could be a sign that she's had multiple sexual partners and that her previous relationships were built more on lust than love. She may have become accustomed to chasing the external, always on the lookout for who looks best, not who loves best. You might be wondering, how is this even connected to her sexual past? Well, someone who places too much value on looks, yours, hers, or others, often seeks validation from attraction. She may base a partner's worth not on who they are, but on how they look. That mindset often leads to short-lived flings, and flings often stack up. You may also notice subtle comparisons she makes. You should dress like this model. My ex had a six-pack too. You'd look way better with this haircut that stings. These superficial comments may feel small, but over time they start to break down your self-esteem. What should you do? Talk to her. Let her know that while you appreciate a good appearance, you're building something deeper, something real. If she values that too, she'll shift her focus. If not, she might never see you for more than what's on the outside. Sign number 38. Disinterest in discussing sexual health. Talking about sex can be awkward, but talking about sexual health, that's not optional. It's necessary. Sexual health isn't just about protection or birth control. It's about trust. It's about safety. It's about respect for your body and hers. But what if she's never interested in discussing it? What if every time you try to bring it up about past partners, STI checks, contraception, or even desires, she shuts the conversation down, gets nervous, acts like you crossed a line that should raise a flag, because a woman who's had multiple sexual partners in the past may avoid these talks out of guilt, shame, or fear of being judged. She may worry that revealing too much will push you away. But here's the problem. Silence is dangerous, especially when it comes to sexual health. STI can go unnoticed. Mismatched expectations can create emotional gaps, and secrets, no matter how small, can turn into serious regrets. If she avoids these talks completely, it might mean she's not being honest about her past. She's unsure if you can handle the truth, or worse, she doesn't believe it's your right to ask. But it is your right, because it's your health on the line too. So what should you do? Approach the topic with kindness but firmness. Tell her this isn't about your past, it's about our future. If we're going to be intimate, I need us to be open, honest, and safe. If she opens up, that's a good sign. If she panics, gets vague, or walks away from the discussion, it may be time to reconsider where the relationship is headed, because love is about more than chemistry. It's about care, and caring means having the hard conversations too. Sign number 9, discomfort. Introducing you to friends. Meeting your partner's friends is a big step. It's a milestone, a way to see how you fit into their real world. the people they laugh with, confide in, and have history with. But what if she avoids introducing you altogether? Maybe she keeps making excuses. They're busy, it's not the right time, you'll meet them soon. Or maybe she changes the subject every time you bring it up, laughs it off, pretends it's not important, but you know better, you feel it in your gut. Something isn't right. A woman who's proud of you, who sees you as someone real, wants you to meet her tribe. She wants to show you off. She wants her friends to know, this is the man I'm building with. So why would she hide you? There are a few possible reasons, none of them comforting. Her friends know things about her past that she doesn't want you to find out. One of her friends may be an ex, a former fling, or even a current backup. She's afraid that introducing you will start unraveling the image she's been trying to sell you either way. Her discomfort around this topic is telling. So what should you do? Ask her directly. But calmly, I feel like there's a wall between me and your world. Are you afraid of introducing me to your friends? If so, why watch her response? If she's genuine, she'll explain, and eventually bring you in if she keeps hiding you. It's likely not about timing. It's about truth, and you deserve the truth. Even if it's uncomfortable, sign up 10 shifting priorities that exclude you. Let's move to the last and arguably most important sign that can reveal if she's had multiple sexual partners, or if something even more serious is going on. She shifts her priorities, and you're no longer one of them when we truly fall for someone. They become a priority, not a burden, not an obligation. A priority. We all have. Work, friends, family, stress, goals, life is full. But no matter how busy things get, when someone values you, they make time for you. So what happens when you start to feel like a background character in her life? When her new hobbies, new friends, or spontaneous plans start replacing the time she once set aside for you? You were once the first text of her day. Now you're lucky to get a reply by evening. She used to be excited to see you. Now she's always tired, busy, or overwhelmed. Yes, life can get chaotic. But when someone's feelings change, when someone is emotionally or physically preoccupied with other people or priorities, it shows. And here's where it connects. If she's had multiple partners, she may have a habit of emotional disconnection when the next distraction comes along. It's not always about cheating. It's about emotional availability. And more importantly, where you rank in her life, you'll know the difference between a woman who's building a life with you and one who's just fitting you in when it's convenient. What should you do? Observe the patterns. How often does she cancel on you? How often does she initiate connection? Or is it always you reaching out if you bring this up and she brushes it off, minimizes it, or gaslights you into thinking you're too sensitive? Walk away because you weren't put on this earth to beg for love time or attention. Final message, the high-value man's reminder. So what does this all mean? It means that if you've noticed several of these 10 signs, not just one or two, you might need to have a serious conversation with yourself. Ask, can I handle this person's past without letting it affect my peace? Do I trust her to build a future that doesn't mirror the patterns of her past? Does she want something real? Or am I just another name in a long list she won't remember 5 years from now? Again, this is not about judging her past. It's about protecting your future. There are men out there, good men who give their time, energy, love, and loyalty to women who are emotionally unavailable, dishonest, or not truly ready to commit. You don't have to be one of them. If you're looking for a deep, lasting, emotionally grounded connection, then you have every right to walk away from someone who's just playing games, no matter how beautiful, charming, or experienced she is, because you are a high-value man and high-value men. Don't chase validation. They don't compete with ghosts. They choose peace, emotional safety, and respect over short-term pleasure or unearned loyalty. If you found this video helpful, take a moment to subscribe, hit the like button. If you feel more confident navigating your relationships, and let us know in the comments which of these signs resonated with you the most. Remember, you are not here to settle. You are here to choose wisely because your love is a gift and not everyone deserves to open it.